Antarctic penguin colony nears extinction.
Expert ties sharp decline in breeding pairs to warming temperatures. Palmer Station, Antarctica. William remembers when the ice floes and rocky outcrops near this U.S. outpost were thick with penguins, and the constant, almost deafening roar of their calls made it impossible to hold a conversation. You could not go anywhere without seeing hundreds to thousands of penguins, says the ecologist. Today, the penguins are disappearing, and that he expects the knee-high birds to be extinct in 8 years. Something like that. What's to blame? He says global warming is part of the problem because it has made it harder for the penguins to forage and breed. When he first arrived at Palmer Station, the climate was cold and relatively dry. Now it's warmer and wet. A bit like southeast Alaska, he says. That environment did not exist 30 years ago. The region is warming faster than anywhere else on Earth. Winter temperatures have risen by between 9 and 11 degrees Fahrenheit since record keeping began about 50 years ago, 50 years ago. And the annual sea ice that covers the ocean near Palmer Station lasts 25% to 30% fewer days than it did in the 1970s. Penguins spend 90% of their lives at sea, swimming or huddled on ice floes in one of the world's harshest climates. In 1974, about 15,200 breeding pairs nested each summer on a handful of windswept islands near Palmer Station. In 2003, there were 5,635 breeding pairs. Right now, you can walk on some of these islands and it is completely gone silent. It's very sad. During the 2005 breeding season, Mr. Fraser could find no breeding pairs on a rocky outcrop. It marked the first time in at least 700 years that, according to paleontological evidence from the excavation, penguins hadn't nested there. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service said in July that it is considering listing at least 10 species of penguins as possibly facing extinction, also citing global warming as part of the problem. Mr. William Fraser, the expert at Palmer Station, says the birds near Palmer Station are struggling to have families. As a human being, Mr. Fraser says it is troubling to see the birds he studied his whole professional life just disappear. But as a scientist, he watches the rapid-fire changes taking place at Palmer Station with fascination. At one time, we were getting glimpses of these things, he says. Right now, they're so obvious, it's quite remarkable. Nearly 200 species added to Red List. Red List grows to 16,306, 16,306 animals and plants seen as threatened. Nearly 200 animals and plants have been added to a global database of threatened species, the World Conservation Union announced Wednesday, adding that the number is certainly on the low end. From the lowland gorillas of Africa to corals of the Galapagos Islands, more than 16,300 species are threatened with extinction, the group said in releasing its annual Red List. The rate of biodiversity loss is increasing, and we need to act now to significantly reduce it and stave off this global extinction crisis, the group's Director General said in a statement. The group noted that while extinctions are a part of nature, its findings show that humans are accelerating some extinctions. Estimates vary greatly, but current extinction rates are at least 100 to 1,000 times higher than natural background rates. In what is billed as the world's most authoritative assessment of Earth's plants and animals, the group considered 41,415 species and found that of those 306, 16,306 were under threat, said the list manager. That is 188 more species than just last year. Even so, the list manager said there are probably many more than that even. Tip of the iceberg. The estimate is low. We know it's low, he said. We've only looked at the tip of the iceberg in terms of species that are out there that are known to science. The total number of extinct species has reached at least 785, and a further 65 only found in captivity or in cultivation, the group said. 1 in 4 mammals, 1 in 8 birds, 1/3 of all amphibians, and 70% of the world's assessed plants on the 2007 Red List are in jeopardy. They also noted that while the total number of species on the planet is unknown, estimates vary between 10 million and 100 million, with 15 million species being the most widely accepted figure. At least nearly 1.8 billion species are known to exist. Corals and warming seas. For the first time, corals were even added to the list due to threats that include the warm water Pacific Ocean pattern, El Nino, and global warming. They said that humans are the main reasons for most species decline. Climate change is increasingly recognized as a serious threat which can magnify these dangers.